Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia Fernandez-Rios and today I will be reviewing Unit 1, Chapter 2, Finance Vocabulary. I will start off with a brief introduction of myself. So like I said, my name is Cynthia. I am pursuing a degree in Business Administration with a concentration in Finance. I am a senior and I am expected to graduate May of 2021. For the YouNancial team, I am the lead content creator. And some of my interests include cooking, baking, my cats, playing board games, and card games. Now we will begin. We're starting off with the learning objective. So we want students to learn financial terminology by teaching you all basic finance vocabulary. So the vocabulary that we will be reviewing will be used words that pop up throughout the different units. We will start off with what is the difference between short-term versus long-term. Short-term. Short-term is classified as anything within a year or less. If you have a commitment that is due within less than a year. So for example, holding a certificate of deposit for 6 months would be considered short-term. And long-term is any commitment longer than a year. So buying a security for 5 to 10 years is considered long-term. Now, what is the difference between an asset and a liability? An asset is something which you own, so it has economic value, and in the future it can be converted into cash. So this can include stocks and bonds. And there are different types of assets. So there's personal, business, current, and fixed assets. Starting with personal. So personal assets can be things of present or future value that you own. So most common is jewelry. Any jewelry, any collectibles, CDs, so certificate of deposits, money market accounts, all of this is considered a personal asset. Business asset. So business assets are things that our business owns to sustain growth. So this can include property and inventory. Current assets. Current assets are capable of being converted into cash. So this includes any cash or cash equivalents. This may also include accounts receivables. Now, fixed assets are also known as non-current assets. These are things that a company uses in production. So this may include machine, land, vehicles, anything used during production. Now, there are some different ways to manage your assets, and Fidelity is one way to do so. So for personal assets like retirement accounts or investment portfolio, use Fidelity. Another popular website is Vanguard and Morgan Stanley. Now, liability. Liability is something that you owe. So this can include any bills, any credit card balances, card payments, a mortgage, anything that is not yours completely is considered a liability. There are different types of liabilities, current liabilities and non-current liabilities. The first one, current liabilities, are things that can be considered short-term. So anything that you can pay off within a year. So this includes your cell phone bill. Non-current liabilities are long-term liabilities. So anything over a year. So for example, if you bought a car and you got a loan for $30,000 and you're going to pay that over a course of 5 years, that is considered a non-current liability because you do not own the car. You have 5 years to pay for it, and it's longer than a year commitment. Now, we will go into Jessica's assets and liabilities. Jessica is one of our characters that we will be discussing throughout the entire course. So she is currently organizing her desk, and on her desk, she has a cell phone, a laptop, a phone bill, and a credit card statement. Which of the items would be considered an asset, and which of the items will be considered a liability? So a hint is that there's 2 of each. I'll give you all a few seconds to think. A cell phone, a laptop, a phone bill, and a credit card statement. So here's the answer. Jessica's assets include her cell phone and her laptop because she already owns them. And her liabilities would include her phone bill and her credit card. So those are things that she does not own. Her credit card, she utilizes it but the money is not hers, and she will eventually have to pay that back. So that's why her credit card is considered a liability. Now, how do you manage liabilities, you may ask? And there are different types of ways. We recommend using an Excel sheet. Excel is very practical. If you're not familiar with Excel, you can even just write these things down. Make sure to just keep track of your liabilities is the ultimate goal of the slide. Use whatever method works best for you. Create a calendar, use a piece of paper, use Excel, draw it out, whatever helps you manage your liabilities. Now, is it bad to borrow money? Liability seems like such a harsh word, but is it really bad? And the answer is it depends. It depends on a case-for-case basis. Borrowing money is sometimes essential, but borrowing too much money will really impact you. So how much money is borrowing too much? Like I said, it varies from person to person. If you borrow excessively and you get to the point where you cannot pay it off, then that's definitely too much. But if you can borrow money and within a month or within a few months you can pay it off, then that is great. You are utilizing your credit, you are maximizing your opportunity to borrow money, and you will be benefiting yourself because you are increasing your credit score. And we will go over this in detail throughout our units. Now we'll move on to basic investing. So what does it mean to have due diligence? So due diligence involves the reasonable steps taken by a person in order to satisfy a legal requirement, especially in buying or selling an item. So being due diligent and having due diligence is just making sure that you're looking out for that person's best interest and you're doing it in a practical manner. What does it mean for risk tolerance? Risk tolerance is a degree of the variability in investment returns that an investor is willing to withstand in their financial planning. So investing is not always a win-win situation. There's a lot of risk that goes into investing. And this is how much are you willing to risk? That is what it means to be risk tolerance. A day trader. What does it mean to be a day trader? A day trader is someone who buys and sells their stocks within a day's time. So throughout the course, we definitely don't encourage or discourage day trading, but we definitely emphasize the difficulty in day trading. Day trading requires a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. And then what is a ticker symbol? So a ticker symbol is an abbreviation used to uniquely identify publicly traded shares of a stock. So in this case, we have the company Apple. Apple is spelled like A-P-P-L-E, but their ticker symbol is AAPL. So only Apple has this ticker symbol. And this is identified directly with Apple. And since they are a public company and they have stocks, this is how you can identify them when you're trying to purchase some stocks. And this concludes Unit 1, Chapter 2, the vocabulary chapter. Please let us know if you have any questions, and we would love to help you. Thank you.